They'll tell you to be realistic. They'll tell you to settle down. But what they really mean is stop growing, stop dreaming, stop becoming more than what they can understand. That's when you must decide, do you want to live a life built by your dreams or one built by their fears? Because the truth is, you cannot chase your dreams while holding on to everyone else's expectations. You cannot build a future for yourself while your focus is scattered across what others think, what others want, and who others expect you to be. This is your life. And the moment you decide to take ownership of it, everything changes. Distraction is the silent killer of dreams. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It doesn't stop you instantly, it slowly pulls you away. One notification, one unnecessary conversation, one self-doubt at a time. Most people don't fail in life because they lack potential. They fail because their focus is fragmented, their energy is scattered, and their attention is hijacked by things that have nothing to do with their goals. In today's world, distraction is easier than ever. With smartphones buzzing, social media pulling us in, and endless entertainment just a click away, it's become normal to be busy without being productive. We live in an age where people are constantly occupied, but rarely aligned with what truly matters to them. You say you want to succeed, you say you have a dream, but how much of your daily energy is actually going toward it? That's the question most people avoid because the truth is uncomfortable. They want the results without paying the cost. But the cost is attention. The cost is time. The cost is the ability to tune out the noise and give your dream the respect it deserves. When you constantly give your energy to things that do not serve your purpose, you are essentially telling your dream that it's not important enough. Every moment you spend mindlessly scrolling through other people's highlight reels is a moment you're not working on your own. Every time you involve yourself in drama or gossip or meaningless comparisons, you are pulling energy away from the one thing that could actually change your life, your purpose. Distraction doesn't always come in the form of obvious time wasters. Sometimes it shows up as toxic relationships, unnecessary obligations, or a mindset that keeps chasing approval from others. You cannot chase your dream and chase people's approval at the same time. You have to choose. People often think multitasking is a skill, but when it comes to your dream, multitasking is a trap. You can't build something great while constantly shifting your focus. You need clarity, direction, and an unbreakable commitment to the path you've chosen. And that only comes when you stop letting your mind be a playground for distractions. You must protect your focus like it's your life, because it is. Your focus determines your reality. It shapes your habits. It controls your momentum. Where your focus goes, your energy flows, and where your energy flows, your results grow. Imagine what your life would look like if you focused deeply on your dream for just 1 year. 1 year of saying no to what doesn't serve you. 1 year of turning down distractions, avoiding drama, and staying laser focused on your mission. Most people never even try that. And that's why they stay stuck. People love to say that success takes time, and it does. But it's not just the passing of time that brings success. It's the focused, intentional use of that time. 10 years of distraction will never equal 1 year of focused, aligned action. So the question isn't whether you have enough time. The question is, what are you doing with the time you have? If your daily actions aren't matching your dreams, your dream is being slowly killed. And the worst part is, it won't even feel like it. It'll feel like you're just living life until one day you wake up and realize the life you wanted is still just a vision, and the only thing you built was regret. Your dream is not optional. It's not just a random desire you thought of one day. It's a responsibility. It was placed inside you for a reason. The dream you carry isn't just yours. It's a part of something bigger. It's your assignment, your calling, and your contribution to the world. Too many people treat their dreams like hobbies, something they'll get to when they have time, money, or support. But dreams don't wait around. They don't survive on excuses. They survive on action, ownership, and relentless commitment. The moment you start viewing your dream as your personal responsibility, everything changes. You stop waiting for the right conditions and you start creating them. You stop blaming circumstances and start taking control. The truth is, nobody else will care about your dream the way you should. Nobody else sees the vision the way you do. That vision was placed in your heart, not theirs. So it's not their job to understand, to validate, or to encourage you. It's yours. You have to carry it, feed it, and protect it like something sacred. Because it is. A lot of people walk around hoping someone will notice their potential, open a door for them, or hand them the perfect opportunity. But life doesn't work like that. Doors don't open for dreamers. They open for doers. They open for the ones who take their vision seriously and show up every single day, whether anyone's watching or not. You don't need permission to chase your dream. You don't need applause. You don't need the perfect conditions. All you need is a decision that this is your path, this is your mission, and you will not abandon it no matter how long it takes. Responsibility means showing up when you're tired. It means choosing discipline over distractions. It means doing the work behind the scenes, even when no one is clapping, because you understand the value of what you're building. You treat your dream like it's already real because you know it will be. That's the mindset that separates those who make it from those who only wish. Too many people are waiting to feel ready before they start. But you'll never feel ready. The path will always feel uncertain, and the longer you wait, the heavier the regret becomes. The longer you ignore the pull of your dream, the more you feel like something inside you is slowly dying, because you were never meant to live a life that doesn't align with your calling. You were never meant to shrink yourself to fit into a world that demands safety over passion. Responsibility doesn't mean you won't feel fear. It means you move forward anyway. It means you trust yourself enough to believe that what you're doing matters, even if no one sees it yet. Your dream doesn't just impact you. It impacts the people who need what you were born to create. Someone out there is waiting for your story, your message, your business, your voice. And if you don't step up and take ownership of your vision, they miss out. That's why your dream is your responsibility, because you were chosen to carry it. And when you understand that, it stops being about fame or money or validation. It becomes about purpose. It becomes about becoming the person you were always meant to be. Responsibility is the bridge between the life you have and the life you were born for. And until you walk across that bridge, you'll always feel the weight of what could have been. Focusing on yourself has been misunderstood for far too long. People label it as selfish or self-centered, but in reality, it's one of the most selfless things you can do. When you focus on yourself, you become better. You grow stronger, wiser, and more capable, not just for your sake, but for everyone who depends on you. You can't pour into others if your own cup is empty. You can't lift someone else up when you haven't even built a solid foundation beneath your own feet. Society glorifies self-sacrifice to the point that people feel guilty for taking time to work on themselves. But the truth is, you're no good to anyone if you're drained, lost, or stuck in a cycle of burnout and resentment. Real strength doesn't come from constant giving. It comes from knowing when to step back, recharge, and rebuild. When you focus on yourself, you begin to learn who you really are without the noise of outside expectations. You begin to hear your own voice, the one that's been drowned out by years of trying to please everyone else. You realize that your worth isn't determined by how useful you are to others, but by who you are at your core. And that self-awareness becomes your power. It gives you clarity, direction, and a deeper sense of purpose. You stop chasing validation and start walking in alignment with your truth. You stop asking for permission to grow and start making moves that serve your future. Focusing on yourself also means creating boundaries, not to push people away, but to protect your peace. You don't owe everyone access to your time, your energy, or your heart. When you give those things freely without thought, you end up depleted and resentful. But when you focus on yourself, you learn to value your own needs. You learn to say no without guilt and yes with intention. You realize that you can care for people without carrying their burdens. You can love deeply without losing yourself. And in doing so, your relationships improve because they're no longer based on obligation or overextension. They're built on authenticity and mutual respect. Taking time for yourself also sharpens your focus and increases your productivity. When you're constantly distracted by the needs, opinions, or drama of others, your mind becomes scattered. You lose sight of your goals. But when you protect your time and energy, you create space for creativity, innovation, and progress. You start making decisions that move you forward instead of keeping you stuck. You stop trying to fix everyone else and start building something for yourself. And that's not selfish, it's essential. Focusing on yourself is an act of self-respect. It's saying, I matter, my dreams matter, my well-being matters. And when you live from that place, you inspire others to do the same. You become an example of what it means to live with intention and power. You show others that it's okay to choose themselves, to grow, to evolve, to rise. And maybe the more whole you become, the more you have to offer the world. Not out of obligation, but from overflow. When you're full of purpose, clarity, and confidence, everything you touch improves. Your work gets better, your relationships deepen, your impact expands. And it all starts with the decision to look inward, to prioritize your growth, and to stop apologizing for choosing yourself. Self-belief is not something you are born with. It's not a gift handed down from the heavens to a chosen few. It's something you build, brick by brick, moment by moment, through the actions you take every single day. You don't wait for belief to show up before you start. You begin. Even when you're unsure, even when you're scared, even when the voice in your head is telling you you're not good enough, because belief is not the starting line. Action is. And when you act in the face of fear, when you show up despite your doubts, that's when belief starts to take root. It grows, not in comfort, but in courage. People often look at those who are confident and assume they've always been that way. But confidence is nothing more than the result of countless small wins stacked over time. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you reinforce trust. Every time you face a fear, even a small one, you chip away at insecurity. Every time you do something difficult, even when no one's watching, you tell your mind, I can handle this. That's how self-belief is built, through the grind, through the repetition, through the moments when quitting seems easier, but you choose to keep going anyway. The mistake most people make is thinking they need to feel ready before they begin. They think they need to feel confident before they can take the leap. But the truth is, action creates confidence. Movement generates momentum. Clarity comes from doing, not from overthinking. You cannot think your way into self-belief. You have to prove it to yourself through action. You can read all the books, listen to all the podcasts, and watch all the motivational videos in the world, but until you step into the arena, nothing changes. Real growth begins when you start showing up for yourself, not once in a while, but consistently. Even small actions count. Waking up early when you said you would, finishing that task you've been avoiding, speaking up when your voice trembles. These tiny moments may seem insignificant, but they are seeds. And if you water them with repetition, they bloom into something powerful. Suddenly, you're no longer the person who second guesses everything. You're someone who moves, who acts, who trusts their instincts because you've shown yourself what you're capable of. You've earned your own respect, and nothing is more powerful than that. Doubt will still visit you. That voice of insecurity doesn't vanish overnight, but the more action you take, the quieter it gets. You start to recognize it for what it is, a remnant of your past, not a predictor of your future. You begin to respond to doubt with discipline. Instead of freezing or folding, you move forward. Not because you're fearless, but because you've learned that fear isn't the enemy, inaction is. Believing in yourself isn't about arrogance or ego. It's about recognizing that you've been given a dream for a reason and that you are equipped to fulfill it, even if it doesn't feel like it right now. You might not be the most talented, the most experienced, or the most connected, but you can be the most relentless. You can be the one who doesn't stop. And over time, that determination builds into certainty, not because someone told you you could do it, but because you've shown yourself that you can over and over again. You've earned the belief, not by waiting, but by working. And that kind of belief, the one that's forged through fire, is unshakable. The environment you keep around you plays a powerful role in the direction of your life. Most people don't realize how much of their mindset, motivation, and even ambition is influenced by the people they spend the most time with. If you surround yourself with those who doubt you, who play small, who fear change, you'll begin to shrink your vision to match theirs, not because you don't have greatness inside you, but because energy is contagious. If everyone around you sees limitations, you'll start to question your possibilities. If everyone around you settles for average, chasing excellence will begin to feel unrealistic. Your dream needs the right environment to thrive. It needs space, support, and energy that reflects the level of growth you're aiming for. You can't expect to rise while staying in rooms that keep you stuck. Sometimes, the people holding you back aren't doing it intentionally. They may love you, care for you, and even want the best for you, but they only know what they know. They view the world through the lens of their own fears, their own failures, their own limitations. And if you're not careful, you'll start inheriting those limits as your own. You'll start believing that your goals are too much, your ambition is unrealistic, and your growth is selfish. But none of that is true. What's selfish is keeping yourself small to make others comfortable. What's dangerous is pretending to be less than you are just to be accepted by people who are afraid to grow. You have to be willing to assess your circle with honesty. Who pushes you to be better, who celebrates your wins without envy, who reminds you of your power when you forget it yourself. And just as importantly, who drains you, who constantly doubts you, who brings drama, negativity, or distractions into your space. You don't need to hate them. You don't need to cut them off with bitterness, but you do need to protect your energy. You do need to create distance when necessary, because your dream is fragile in its early stages. It requires nurturing, positivity, and consistent support, not skepticism, not sarcasm, and definitely not sabotage disguised as love. Sometimes elevating your life means outgrowing relationships. That's a hard truth, but a necessary one. Growth and comfort rarely coexist. You may have to walk alone for a season. You may have to be misunderstood, but that's okay, because isolation can be preparation. It can give you the silence you need to hear your own thoughts, the space you need to build discipline, and the solitude you need to strengthen your self-worth. It's in those quiet seasons that you really meet yourself and understand just how much you're capable of. And when you're ready, the right people will find you. The ones who match your energy, respect your boundaries, and inspire your ambition. But you have to make room for them by letting go of what no longer fits. Your circle is either watering your potential or slowly drying it out. It's either challenging you to rise or encouraging you to stay the same. And no matter how motivated or talented you are, if you stay in an environment that pulls you down, your chances of reaching your full potential decrease dramatically. You owe it to yourself to be intentional about the people you allow into your life, because the wrong energy will make you doubt your dream and the right energy will make you believe it's already yours. Surround yourself with people who remind you of your greatness, not your limitations. People who talk ideas, not just people. People who inspire movement, not mediocrity. That one shift can change everything. Success is not about one big move or one lucky break. It's about showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. It's about consistency. That word may sound boring to some, but it's the secret ingredient behind every powerful transformation, every remarkable journey, and every unstoppable person. You don't build a legacy in a single day. You build it in the quiet moments, the unnoticed hours, and the small choices you make repeatedly. Discipline doesn't scream, it whispers. It shows up in your daily habits, your commitment to the plan, and your refusal to be swayed by temporary emotions. And while motivation can get you started, only discipline will keep you going when the excitement fades and reality sets in. The world is filled with people who started strong but never finished. They had big goals, fiery passion, and inspiring intentions, but they lacked the discipline to follow through. Because discipline means doing the hard thing when the easy option is right there. It means staying focused when distractions are calling your name. It means choosing progress over comfort even when no one's watching. And that's where most people fall off. They want the rewards, but not the routine. They want the success, but not the sacrifice. But you don't get to enjoy the harvest if you're not willing to plant the seeds and water them daily, even when the soil looks dry and nothing seems to be happening. It's easy to show up on the days you feel good, when you're inspired and energized. But real growth happens on the hard days, the ones where you feel tired, discouraged, unseen. Those are the days that build character. That's when discipline becomes your best friend, because discipline doesn't rely on your feelings. It relies on your standards. It's about deciding in advance who you want to become and aligning your actions with that version of yourself every single day. Not just when it's convenient, but especially when it's difficult. Discipline also requires a mindset shift. You stop chasing instant results and start falling in love with the process. You stop measuring success by how much you've achieved and start measuring it by how consistently you're showing up. You realize that real change doesn't happen overnight, but over time. And when you zoom out, you begin to see how powerful your daily habits really are. Each workout, each chapter read, each hour of focused work, each moment of resisting temptation, these tiny acts compound into something extraordinary, but only if you stay committed long enough to see them bloom. There's a version of you that you haven't met yet, a version that's stronger, wiser, and more powerful than you can imagine. But you don't become that person through wishful thinking. You become that person through daily effort, repeated discipline, and relentless commitment. You rise by showing up, not by waiting for perfect conditions. You grow by doing the work, not by watching others succeed. Every day you choose discipline over distraction. You're casting a vote for the person you're becoming. And over time, those votes create identity. That identity becomes unshakable, and it gives birth to results that others can't explain because they weren't there for the quiet battles, the late nights, the early mornings, and the countless times you pushed through even when everything in you wanted to quit. The truth is, there are no shortcuts. There's no magic formula, just consistent action day after day, fueled by a deep sense of purpose. You don't need to be the smartest, the most talented, or the most connected. You just need to be the one who refuses to stop. That's what discipline is. It's not punishment. It's a form of love. Love for your future, love for your potential, love for the life you know you were meant to live. And when you choose that love daily, success becomes inevitable, not because it happens overnight, but because it becomes who you are. Fear is a powerful emotion. It can paralyze you, keep you trapped in a life that feels safe but unfulfilling, and convince you that staying where you are is better than risking what you could become. But the truth is, fear is not your enemy. It's a compass. It points directly to the areas of growth, the places where you need to step forward instead of shrinking back. Most people mistake fear as a signal to stop, but those who rise above the ordinary learn to see fear as a signal to go. Because behind every fear you face, there's a stronger, wiser, more capable version of yourself waiting to be discovered. Every dream that truly matters will come with fear attached to it, and that's how you know it's worth chasing. The dreams that don't scare you aren't big enough to change you. Fear whispers lies into your mind. It tells you that you're not ready, that you're not good enough, that you'll fail, that people will laugh, that you'll regret trying. But what fear never tells you is what you'll lose if you don't try. It never tells you how much potential you'll waste, how many moments you'll miss, how much regret you'll carry if you let it win. The pain of fear is temporary, but the pain of regret is permanent. You can always bounce back from a mistake, but you can't rewind time and reclaim a chance you never took. So the question isn't whether you're afraid. The question is whether you'll let that fear make your decisions for you. Every successful person you admire has felt fear. They felt it when they stepped onto the stage, when they launched their business, when they walked away from comfort to pursue something uncertain. But they acted anyway. That's what sets them apart. They stopped waiting for the fear to disappear and started moving in spite of it. And in doing so, they discovered something amazing. Courage doesn't mean you're not afraid. Courage means you do it scared. That shift in mindset is everything. Because if you wait until you feel fearless, you'll wait forever. But if you choose to act while fear is still present, you'll build strength you never knew you had. Facing your fears isn't just about bravery, it's about freedom. When you stop letting fear dictate your life, you start to reclaim your power. You become the one in control, not your doubts, not your insecurities, not your past. And with every fear you confront, you gain confidence, clarity, and momentum. You begin to understand that fear shrinks in the face of action. It feeds on hesitation, but dies in motion. And the more you face it, the smaller it becomes. What once seemed impossible starts to feel manageable. What once terrified you becomes a stepping stone instead of a wall. Not about being reckless or impulsive. It's about being intentional. It's about recognizing when fear is holding you back from something meaningful and deciding that your growth matters more than your comfort. Every time you choose to face what scares you, you train your mind to be resilient. You teach yourself that discomfort is temporary, but the rewards of courage last a lifetime. You give yourself permission to expand, to evolve, to rise. Fear will never completely go away, but it will lose its power when you stop giving it authority over your choices. And the beautiful thing is, once you start moving through fear, you begin to inspire others to do the same. Your courage becomes contagious. Your story becomes a light for someone else stuck in their own fear. You stop just surviving and start truly living. Because life on the other side of fear is richer, bolder, and more fulfilling than anything you'll find in your comfort zone. And every time you take a step forward, even with your heart racing and your knees shaking, you prove to yourself that fear may be loud, but it doesn't get the final say. You do. In a world obsessed with quick success, viral fame, and overnight results, it's easy to fall into the trap of chasing validation instead of purpose. But real success isn't loud. It doesn't always show up on social media. It doesn't need applause to be meaningful. It lives in the quiet, often unseen moments where you're building, grinding, and staying true to your path, regardless of who's watching. Focusing on your long-term vision means anchoring yourself in a purpose that goes beyond external recognition. It means you're not just looking to impress for a moment, but to create something that lasts for years to come. And that kind of legacy takes time. It takes patience, grit, and a deep understanding that every small step counts, even when it seems like nothing is happening. When you're focused on the long game, you stop measuring your worth by likes, views, or praise. You understand that clout can be bought, but impact has to be earned. You stop chasing trends and start building foundations. You're not swayed by the highs and lows of public opinion because your direction comes from something deeper, your values, your goals, your vision. And while others may burn out trying to stay relevant, you're building endurance, stamina, and character that will keep you going long after the excitement fades. There's something powerful about the person who can stay focused in silence, who doesn't need attention to keep moving, who works while the world sleeps, and grows when no one's clapping. The long-term vision is what separates creators from imitators. It's what gives your work depth and direction. It's what keeps you grounded when others lose themselves in comparison. Because when you know where you're going, you stop competing with everyone else. You stop needing to prove yourself to people who don't even understand your path. You begin to trust the timing of your life, knowing that what's meant for you will find you if you keep showing up. You let go of the pressure to be seen and instead focus on being solid. You understand that speed means nothing if you're headed in the wrong direction. And the truth is, many people give up too soon, not because they weren't capable, because they lacked vision. They were working for applause instead of purpose. They were chasing what looked good instead of what felt right. But success built on validation is fragile. One negative comment, one failed project, one dry season, and it all comes crashing down. But when you're building from a place of deep clarity and conviction, you become unshakable. You know that setbacks are part of the journey. You learn from them, you adjust, you grow, because your eyes are on something bigger than today's scoreboard. Long-term vision also means you're willing to delay gratification. You understand that not every win needs to be posted. Not every move needs to be announced. You find joy in the process instead of waiting for the results. You're okay with being underestimated, misunderstood, or overlooked because you're not here for temporary hype. You're here to build something real. And real takes time. It's in the seasons of waiting, working, and watering your dreams when no one's watching that you develop the depth to sustain what's coming. Fame is a spotlight, but purpose is a foundation. The spotlight can blind you if you're not ready, but the foundation will hold you steady no matter how high you rise. There's power in playing the long game. It makes you resilient, focused, and consistent. You learn to block out noise and stay rooted in truth. You stop chasing shiny distractions and start investing in your future. And over time, while others are fading out, jumping from one thing to the next, you're still here, stronger, wiser, and further ahead, not because you were lucky, but because you were loyal, loyal to your dream, loyal to your discipline, loyal to your vision. That loyalty, that focus, that long-term mindset, it's what makes you unstoppable. Growth is a process, and like any process, it comes with challenges, setbacks, and discomfort. But what many people fail to realize is that discomfort is not a sign of failure. It's a sign of growth. When you start something new, when you push yourself beyond your limits, when you strive for a higher level of achievement, you will face discomfort. You'll question yourself. You'll feel overwhelmed. You'll face moments where it seems easier to quit than to keep going. But those moments are exactly what you need to embrace in order to reach the next level of your potential. Success doesn't lie in avoiding discomfort, but in mastering it. It's about learning to sit with the unease, to push through the struggle, and to understand that every ounce of discomfort is helping you expand. The truth is, discomfort is a prerequisite for greatness. Think about anyone who has achieved extraordinary success in any field. They didn't get there by staying in their comfort zones. They didn't wait until everything felt easy and effortless. They pushed through pain, failure, rejection, and fear. They stepped into the unknown and stayed there long enough to grow stronger. Every time they felt like giving up, they dug deeper. Every time they encountered resistance, they pushed harder. And that's the difference between those who succeed and those who quit. They didn't stop when things got tough. They learned to adapt, adjust, and keep moving forward. We live in a world that glorifies instant results, but the most meaningful achievements are always the ones that take time, effort, and persistence. We often look at people who seem to have it all together and think they must have had it easy, but in reality, those who appear to be effortlessly successful have faced the same struggles, the same obstacles, and the same uncomfortable moments that you will face on your own journey. The difference is they didn't avoid them. They leaned into them. They saw them as necessary steps in their journey, not barriers. They saw discomfort not as a roadblock, but as a signal that they were on the right path. When you choose to step out of your comfort zone, you're choosing to grow, and growth never happens when everything is easy. Growth happens when you face challenges head on, when you stretch your abilities, when you push yourself to do things you've never done before. The more you practice this, the more resilient you become. You learn to trust that discomfort is a temporary state. You learn to trust that you are capable of handling more than you think. The discomfort fades, and what remains is a new version of you, one that's stronger, wiser, and more capable than you were before. But the key is to keep going. Most people stop at the first sign of discomfort. They quit when the path gets too hard, when they feel too challenged, when things don't go as planned. They give up just before their breakthrough. But if you can push through those tough moments, if you can learn to embrace discomfort as part of the journey, you'll find that the rewards on the other side are far greater than anything you could have imagined. It's through discomfort that you discover your true strength, your true potential. It's through discomfort that you find the courage to keep moving forward, even when the road ahead seems uncertain. So the next time you face discomfort, don't run from it. Don't let it stop you. Lean into it. Know that it's a sign that you're growing, that you're stretching, that you're moving closer to the person you're meant to be. Embrace the challenge, trust the process, and remember, every great achievement in history was built on a foundation of discomfort. Your breakthrough is waiting on the other side. Keep pushing, keep growing, keep going. In today's world, it's easy to feel like you're not enough. Social media bombards us with images of perfection, highlighting the lives of others as if they've somehow figured out the secret to success, happiness, and fulfillment. But the truth is, comparison is a thief. It robs you of your peace, your joy, and your potential. When you constantly compare yourself to others, you lose sight of your own journey. You start measuring your worth based on someone else's timeline, someone else's achievements, and someone else's strengths. But your story is not theirs. Your path is unique. Your timeline is yours alone. And when you stop comparing yourself to others, you free yourself to focus on your own growth, your own dreams, and your own progress. Everyone has a different journey. The person you're comparing yourself to may have faced their own set of challenges, obstacles, and struggles that you can't see. They may have taken years to get where they are, or they may have had different opportunities. The truth is, comparison doesn't tell the full story. It only shows you a snapshot, a filtered version of someone's life, and that's never the whole picture. What you don't see is the hard work, the sacrifices, the late nights, and the failures they've endured to get where they are. But even more importantly, their journey has nothing to do with yours. Your path is different, your experiences are different, and your challenges will be different. And that's okay. You don't need to walk in someone else's shoes to reach your own destination. When you stop comparing yourself to others, you can start focusing on what really matters, your own growth. You can begin to set goals that align with who you truly are and what you truly want, not based on what someone else has achieved. You can embrace your strengths, acknowledge your weaknesses, and take ownership of your progress. When you stop measuring your worth against someone else's, you allow yourself to grow at your own pace. You give yourself the grace to fail, the space to learn, and the time to improve. Progress becomes something you can celebrate, not a race you're trying to win against others. In fact, comparison can actually slow your progress down. When you're constantly looking around trying to measure up to someone else, you lose sight of your own path. You waste energy on things that don't matter, like feeling inferior or jealous, when you could be using that energy to push yourself forward. You start doubting your abilities, questioning your worth, and wondering if you're even on the right track. But all of that doubt only holds you back. It keeps you stuck in a cycle of negativity where you're always looking outward instead of inward. The moment you stop comparing yourself to others is the moment you can fully focus on your own potential and your own journey. You stop letting other people's achievements define your success, and instead, you define it for yourself. The most successful people in the world are those who've embraced their uniqueness and refuse to get caught up in comparison. They know that their journey is their own. They know that they have something valuable to offer that no one else can replicate. And they understand that their worth isn't defined by how they measure up to someone else, but by the value they bring to the world through their authenticity and perseverance. When you stop comparing yourself to others, you start embracing your own potential. You start seeing yourself as worthy of success, happiness, and fulfillment, just as you are. And once you make that shift, your entire world changes. You stop holding yourself back. You stop playing small. You stop second guessing your abilities, and you start stepping into the full power of who you are meant to be. Every day is an opportunity to move one step closer to your dreams, but that only happens when you show up consistently, even when it feels hard, even when the results aren't immediately visible, and even when you're exhausted or discouraged. Success is not a destination that you reach once and for all. It's a series of consistent actions that build momentum over time. The key to success isn't found in waiting for the right moment or hoping for the perfect circumstances. It's found in your daily habits, the small decisions you make every day, and the actions you take that may seem insignificant in the moment, but have a profound impact when compounded over time. These are the moments that build your future. It's the work you put in when no one is watching, the effort you make when it feels like no progress is happening, and the consistency you maintain when others would give up. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that success happens all at once, that one great leap will suddenly propel them to where they want to be. But true progress is built step by step. It's the daily grind, the habits you commit to even when you don't feel like it. Success is not an event, it's a process. It's waking up every day with a determination to do just a little bit more than yesterday, even if that little bit seems small in comparison to the larger goal. The magic is in showing up, in doing the work day in and day out, in being persistent when others have long since given up. In the early stages, the results may be hard to see. You may work tirelessly, put in hours of effort, and feel like you're not getting anywhere. But that's when you need to remind yourself that progress isn't always immediately visible. Just because you don't see the results right away doesn't mean they aren't coming. It's like planting a seed in the ground. At first, there's no sign of growth, but beneath the surface, roots are taking hold, preparing for the plant to break through the soil. If you stop watering the seed just because you don't see immediate growth, you'll never know the beauty it could have grown into. This same principle applies to your dreams and goals. The consistency you put in today will show itself tomorrow, next month, or even years down the road. You must trust the process. The journey may not always feel glamorous. It may not always feel exciting, but real change happens in the everyday. It's in the routine you build, the mindset you nurture, and the small actions that lead to big results. When you take consistent action, you create momentum. Momentum is what carries you through difficult times. It's the feeling of progress that keeps you going even when things are tough. And when you look back, you'll realize how far you've come simply by staying consistent, even when the road was rocky and uncertain. The key to mastering consistency is understanding that perfection isn't necessary. You don't have to be perfect in your efforts or every step of the way. What matters is that you keep moving forward, even if some days are slower than others. Progress doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be continuous. There will be days when you stumble, when you fall behind, or when things don't go according to plan. That's okay. What matters is that you get up the next day and keep going. You can't control every setback or obstacle, but you can control your response to them. You can choose to keep showing up even when you feel like quitting. And that's what separates those who succeed from those who don't. The ability to continue moving forward despite the setbacks, the challenges, and the failures. Success is built on consistency, persistence, and resilience. It's about showing up for yourself day after day, regardless of how you feel or what's happening around you. It's about trusting that each small action adds up, even when it feels insignificant. The more consistent you are, the more progress you'll see. And with each step forward, you'll get closer to your dreams. You don't have to do everything at once, but you do need to do something every day. Those daily actions will accumulate, and before you know it, you'll have achieved things you once thought were impossible. Keep going, even when it feels slow, because the consistency you build today will pay off tomorrow. Your mind is your most powerful tool. It's the engine that drives your actions, shapes your reality, and influences how you experience the world. The thoughts you allow to dominate your mind directly impact how you feel, how you react to situations, and ultimately how you perform in every area of your life. Understanding this is a game changer because it means that you have the power to control your life by controlling your thoughts. The way you think will determine how far you go in life, how well you handle obstacles, and how successful you can become. The first step in harnessing the power of your mind is becoming aware of the thoughts you are feeding yourself. Many people go through life on autopilot, allowing their thoughts to drift without actively guiding them. They let fear, doubt, or negative self-talk take over, often without realizing how much power these thoughts have over their actions. To break free from this cycle, you must become intentional about what you think. Instead of allowing negativity or self-doubt to dominate your mind, you must consciously replace these thoughts with positive, empowering beliefs. You have the ability to reshape your thoughts, to redirect your focus, and to build a mindset that supports your goals, your dreams, and your success. When you train your mind to be calm and positive, you will begin to see the world through a different lens. You'll stop reacting impulsively to stress, fear, or uncertainty. Instead, you'll approach challenges with a clear, focused mind that allows you to think strategically and make informed decisions. This calmness comes from knowing that your mind is a tool you can control. When you are able to center yourself, no matter what's happening around you, you become a force that's unstoppable. You stop being a victim of your circumstances and start being the creator of your reality. Another key aspect of training your mind is cultivating a sense of resilience. Life is full of setbacks, disappointments, and unexpected challenges. But it's not the challenges that define you, it's how you respond to them. The most successful people are not those who avoid hardship, they are the ones who learn to rise above it. By training your mind to remain calm in the face of adversity, you build mental resilience. Resilience allows you to bounce back from setbacks stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the next challenge. It's about maintaining a positive mindset, even when things aren't going your way. It's about refusing to let temporary difficulties define your future. In addition to resilience, training your mind to stay calm also involves developing patience. In today's fast-pacing world where instant gratification is often expected, patience is a rare but invaluable trait. Achieving meaningful goals takes time, effort, and persistence. When you are patient, you give yourself the space to grow and learn from your experiences. You stop rushing and start appreciating the journey. Patience also helps you to avoid the trap of comparison. When you understand that growth is a process, you stop measuring your success against others. You focus on your own timeline, knowing that everything happens in its own time. Developing mental calmness and focus also requires letting go of the need for control. We often try to control every aspect of our lives, our careers, relationships, even our personal achievements. But the truth is, control is an illusion. There are things beyond our influence, and when we try to control everything, we only create more stress and anxiety. Learning to let go of the need for control allows you to be more adaptable and open to life's natural flow. You learn to respond to challenges with flexibility, and you become less resistant to change. This mental flexibility enables you to embrace the unknown with confidence and curiosity, knowing that each experience is an opportunity for growth. The final aspect of training your mind is nurturing a mindset of abundance. When you believe there is enough success, wealth, love, and opportunity to go around, you stop feeling like you need to compete with others or take from them. Instead, you focus on building your own path, knowing that your success doesn't diminish anyone else's. With an abundant mindset, you focus on growth, possibilities, and the belief that your dreams are not only achievable, they are inevitable if you stay committed and continue to work towards them. Your mind becomes a magnet for opportunities, and the more you believe in the abundance of life, the more of it you will attract.